Hi guys, this is Priscilla, your wonderful host of PureLunacy, and I have my wonderful guest, Monica Arroyo. We've known each other for, over a decade. And Monica is a great source, a wealth of knowledge. She has worked in various states. She's worked in Texas. She's worked in DC. She's worked in Florida, in Puerto Rico. Her experience is across, all borders. She's worked for Republicans. She's worked for Democrats. She now is a policy analyst. She continues the good fight, and y'all welcome her. Say hello, Monica.
Hi. Hi, Lunacy friends.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for
having me.
Yes. Thank you for.
We've been talking about this for years, so I'm actually really glad that this is happening.
Yes, Monica, you were actually, one of the people that I started Lunacy with, PureLunacy in undergrad.
Oh my God, I know. It's been way that long, and I'm so glad that you're still doing this.
Absolutely. So let's just jump in there. A lot of things have been happening. One of the things that I read about current events is that they're not really calling this the Great Recession or a Great Depression. They're calling it the Great Repression in regards to how it's affecting our economy. What are you thinking about everything that's happening? What are your thoughts?
So before we start with the bad stuff, let me give a quick shout out to all our amazing frontline. We have really close friends, and including my amazing husband. They're working in the ER. So my heart goes out to them. Thank you for all you do. Essential workers. Without you, you're the backbone of our society. So thank you for showing up. Really. With the economy, so it's gonna get worse before it gets better. It'll get better. I think one of the first things that you learn in economics is that everything is cyclical. So this will pass. But before
side note, Monica does have a degree in economics. So listen, keep going.
So before it gets better, the numbers are kind of scary, and we based everything on perception, and everyone's really scared right now. There's a lot of insecurity. We need more information. We don't have enough. So right now with the numbers, unemployment, it's gonna be a big issue.
In the millions.
Yeah, it went from 3% to 20% in 2 months.
Snap.
So this is gonna be a challenge, not only on a federal level but on a state as well.
And local level. It's gonna hit the local.
It hit everything.
Governments.
So yeah, it's gonna be tough. The gig economy. We were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
Our friends in healthcare are being affected. Their hours are being cut, but more or less, some jobs are more stable than others.
Yeah.
And even if those jobs go away, they will get there. We'll get those back in tech as well. But we were a bit worried about a couple of industries, and that included the service industries, restaurants, a lot of retail, small.
And I think we need to be honest that we're living in a new normal, almost very similar to the new normal that we lived in after 9/11. Nothing went back to normal after 9/11. It was a new normal.
This is a new normal.
And we're going to have a new normal. We're going to have a new normal now after Corona. And
JetBlue just announced, side note, JetBlue just announced that I think from May 4th, they're going to allow only passengers that are wearing face masks.
Really? That so we're
So
becoming
like it's starting like this is
yeah.
starting, a bunch of new protocols just for traveling and maybe for retail, maybe for concerts, like extrapolate this for everything. Like um
Changing. And I'll be honest, I don't think that the virus will go away completely. I think it's going to calm down in the summer, and I think that we're going to have a second wave come fall. And I don't believe we'll have a virus within the year. So our economy is just taking a direct hit, and there's no way around it. Uh, you can't just say open everything back up, go back to normal, because then everything just collapses again and people get infected and our health system is overloaded and we're back at square one.
it's like you're doomed like either way.
Between a hard
It's a
rock and
it's
a hard place.
it's a pandemic, and it's horrible. I know a lot of people are suffering. A lot of people are millions are sick. I think the number hit 3 million.
Yeah.
So today, I think the reported number of cases of death in the United States is 52,000.
Yeah.
So those are
It's almost like an evolving virus. It's evolving and it's not stagnant in terms of these are, the symptoms, this is what you get. Bada bing, bada boom, we're done.
Edgar was telling me yesterday that he was reading. Edgar's my husband. He's an ER physician, and he was telling me yesterday that he read an article where some of the symptoms might be showing up as like strokes or like it's scary. There are like 30 different types already. Some people are symptomatic. Some people.
So many different strains. Here we are thinking, oh, we got this one strain coming from China and that's it. But it's branched off. It's kind of like exploded.
So that's why it's extremely important for everyone to keep following the guidelines for safety, because since this is an evolving issue, and we need to keep each other safe.
Right.
But I know that people need to eat. This has caused a disruption in the food industry, from the top of the people supplying food to everyone that needs it in the bottom.
They're euthanizing the animals because they don't have a way to get the food to the consumer.
And there's an issue right now that like a lot of people depend on school. A lot of kids depend on schools to get food. And they're not open. Some states are opening a couple of schools, not all of them.
Right.
We've seen the lines of thousands of people with needs of food.
And I think that something that's interesting, I guess, as an academic in studying policy and studying these kind of things, one of the perceptions that people get is that when it comes to poverty in America, it affects minorities, and that's just about it. And what we're seeing is all communities are dealing with poverty in America, and all communities are having to address the reality of that poverty in this pandemic and how they can sustain themselves, how they can feed their families, how they can keep a roof over their heads. And I think it's going to completely turn our policy system upside down, turn it on its head, to try not only and address COVID, but to prevent another crisis due to a pandemic in America.
I agree.
I
agree.
Yeah. And one of the things I've noticed, because we're both Latina, I'm Brazilian, you're Puerto Rican, is our Latin community, which is a very large community in America. It's very diverse. We have a lot of countries when it comes to Latin Americans. We don't take it seriously. As a whole.
Well, I'm gonna speak specifically about Puerto Ricans because I want to be fair in this. Like we've taken it very seriously.
Yeah. Okay.
In Puerto Rico, they were, I think, like to be straight with the lingo. Like the first state was California, but I think before the California, the first territory in the United States that did their part and applied stay-at-home regulations and protocols was Puerto Rico. They did a good job.
Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, y'all. Puerto Ricans are American citizens. They are part of America. It is not another country.
We've been part of the United States since 1917. Yes. I hope I said that right, because if not, it's going to be...
We'll correct it later.
We'll do some editing. No, I'm sure. Yeah. It's been over 100 years.
So let me rephrase myself. A lot of Latin Americans in Texas, in my opinion, have not been taking it as seriously. And unfortunately, it's negatively affected the Latin community in that a lot of Latin folks have gotten infected and they weren't prepared. And it's very much affected the population here in Texas, at least.
I want to say that there is also a lack of information in Spanish for the Latin community, and we don't all express ourselves the same way. We don't receive information the same way. So there needs to be a coordinated way to communicate with the Latin population. Mm-hmm. Individually in each community. And of course, that's a very tough job. It requires a lot. I'm not going to say names, but for example, before the last election, we had a state senator that didn't have any Spanish-speaking staff. And that's unacceptable, especially in moments like this. You see the need of public officials to communicate with everyone, not just in English anymore.
And I think that's the key. You know, and I know that there's going to be people that are going to say, well, this is America, you should learn English, and that's how it is.
And I get it.
I understand that, but there are large communities that are being negatively affected by this pandemic who do not speak English. And with that in mind, we can't allow those communities to be ignorant to the reality of the dangers because we believe that people should speak English, you know?
Native American populations have been greatly impacted by this. I've seen massive protests of Native Americans wearing leaves, like wearing like plastic bottles. They don't know what to wear to be able to protect themselves, and they don't have enough information. So I understand but at this point, it's like a public safety thing. You know,
it's not political.
It's safer if everyone knows that they need to stay home, that they need to wash their hands, that they need to follow new rules, and it's better if we all know what we're supposed to do, and not everyone has the same understanding.
There you go. And not everybody has the same understanding. I think that's the key. I think that most people don't realize that not everybody thinks like you. So you have to be able to get the message out so that everybody can have a comprehensive understanding of what's going on. Not everybody's going to have the capability of comprehending things in the same manner or as eloquently or whatever it is. But you can't ignore those communities either, because those communities are going to be the ones that are hit the hardest.
Yeah, and to be honest, those are the communities that can't afford it. Mm-hmm. That usually lack resources, that are lagging in wages. So we see a disparity in how crises affect minorities. and the data reflects that. It's not something that we're making up.
Yeah.
So, of course, we know that it's a it's a tough position for the government to be in. But the least that we should require from our governments is to be transparent and to have clear information for everyone.
Exactly.
And if at least they can provide that, we will all be safer.
Right. And unfortunately, the centralization of information is so different for every state that the complexity of everything.
Like I've been watching all the news conferences from the
All
different
the
states,
governors.
and everyone's giving their own
Different.
information. So it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And it also shows, I think it also shows that this virus, because it's so novel, because it's so new, nobody really knows or has a full 100% grasp of everything. So they're going with what they know from what they've gathered from what they've been briefed on, and that's what we're going to go with right now. And if it changes tomorrow, great, but we need to do something now. And I don't think people understand how this is all, like, within a few seconds you can learn something new that you need to do, and you move forward from there.
But to be honest, and you need reliable information, and we're not receiving it from the federal level. Some states are being more negligible, more
Negligent.
yes, thank you, than others. So I don't know what to tell you. Like we
You
should
can say it. This is pure lunacy. Just say it.
It's tough. It's tough. I've been in government, and to be honest, the coordination of resources with needs, it's a tough position to be in. Puerto Rico experienced it during Maria, and Florida we experienced it during Irma and Maria. There are many communities like that are totally destroyed still,
Yeah.
and that was 2 years ago. So there are communities that were hit really hard, and we've seen that globally. Pri. It's not just let's not just go to United States. Like how does this affect Australia that just had I don't know how many miles of wildfire
Right.
in their country? Like there's
It's a global.
the
That's
world
why it's called a global pandemic.
a tough process.
Yes.
And this is a tough hit for a lot of communities. The people that were wealthy, that had liquidity, they're gonna be fine. They're probably making money.
Man and woman won't be. The mom and pop shops, the entrepreneurs,
The middle class,
our retired citizens.
boomers, depending on their retirement that they were supposed
Nobody's
to retire.
talking about that,
Yeah. No,
Social
it's gonna be tough.
Security, we need to take care of our retired citizens, and it's not coming up for conversation as we provide all this relief. That's great, but I know for a fact that you're double dipping into what should be also relief for our retired citizens. How are we going to take care of them? Social Security is already saying that they only have funds to go through 2026.
That's gonna hit especially hard Florida.
It's we can't turn our backs on our elderly, we can't turn our backs on our kids. So how do you mitigate something like this? How do you address it?
So I think there needs to be an organized and coordinated method to distribute and collect data.
Yeah.
Without it, there's no way you can provide the necessary resources for the communities. Like if you have information, like you'll keep providing to the same communities, like it's what you're saying.
And
Not a
issues, because you've been a researcher, I've been a researcher, and one of the issues that I've noticed when it comes to data that has been a bit complex with this pandemic is due to HIPAA protections, and HIPAA protections protecting the rights of people who have been infected. They don't want to say where that person worked, or where that person, what neighborhood they lived in. And one of the issues is becoming, okay, you won't give us any information about where they're from, city, location, nothing. So how do you then prepare those who may have come into contact with that person if, due to HIPAA law, you must not give any information whatsoever? I think what we're going to see is we're going to have to revise that concept of privacy when it comes to
But the way to go around it is just asking people if they're okay for them to release certain information, so that
and they're not doing that.
I'm sure that everyone that is affected by this right now wants to be counted.
Yes.
So just the way of going around that is just asking people if they're more than willing and able to say that. Yeah, but they're sick.
And I would think it should be standard practice, but
I agree.
It's not. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Our data is collected and is used for a lot of things that we don't even agree to. And to this is something Twitter, we all agree to, that should be publication. I don't want you to release specifically my name, but if there is information that will help my community be a safer place, of course that should be public.
And I think we're going to have a serious revision of a lot of different policies that we have in place, because it's clear that it does not function in today's society, in our civilization, our coordinated efforts to combat something that's bigger than, ideology. This is life.
This is going to change every industry. Like, for my friends that are lawyers, like, I know that everyone's asking for liability extensions. That includes housing, that includes nursing homes, that includes hospitals and doctors. Like, I'm seeing it everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's another change that's coming.
I hope that as we see the changes of our social setting, that those changes are reflected in our Congress. And I say it in this manner because there are people who are in Congress, and I've said this a few times in Pure Lunacy, but there are people who have been in Congress for decades, and they don't change. A leopard doesn't change its spots. And after something like this, we need to change some spots on some leopards, or they
need to... looking at you. I don't know who you're talking about specifically, but you know.
Right here.
You know that we're talking about you.
Because you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. That's insanity. It's not pure lunacy. It's insanity. I
want to just say this. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, like, if we've been talking for way too long.
No, of course not.
But I want to say this. Yeah. Right now is especially important for everyone to vote. So please, I'm asking as a citizen that I'm expecting for my state, for other states to accommodate for mail voting and other safe ways that encourage voting instead of voter suppression. Everyone needs to vote in this election. It's extremely important to vote. Like, there's no way everyone should stay at home. So it's what you're saying. We need to go and vote. So I'm expecting from all public servants right now I know that this is a crisis and you're focusing on this,
Yeah.
But your focus can't be just one-sided. You need to be doing and juggling a couple of things at the same time. And we have elections in November. We have primaries before that. So there needs
Trump
to be
canceled their
ways
primary election.
for the rest of our lives. If
Yeah.
this is going to be an issue, we need to find better ways and more efficient for everyone to participate and be safe.
Vote.
And this is the time. It's not 2024. It's not later on. It's like everyone should be focusing on this now.
And that's why I say everything about our system, everything about how we function is changing. School is changing. You know, grad school, law school, we're starting to see that internet is a utility, not a luxury. And when it comes to voting, we're going to have to reimagine and recalculate and reconsider how we as Americans have voting and encourage voting instead of suppression. It, we're at a point in time in our American history where we're at a paradigm shift. And everything we do is being put under the spotlight, especially because of coronavirus. The Rona has changed everything.
It has. It really has. It's not only the economy, it's our psyche. Like I go out and I'm trying not to. I go out the least possible. When I do, like everyone's scared. You see everyone wearing face masks. Like I try to stay away from people.
Which
And
is strange because I like to
just
hug
to keep
people.
them
I like to
safe,
be with
not just
people.
myself. Like I don't know. Like no one knows if they're a carrier. So it's irresponsible right now not to act like if you're not. You know, we all need to be acting like we have coronavirus, and we should be like washing our hands. We should be like if we need to go out and we're asymptomatic and we're not feeling bad, we should still be staying away from other people and taking those precautions that will keep us and others safe.
Right. And I think that this is also where we see a challenge to our framework. And we're a capitalist country. It has functioned excellently. And we have a lot of things that are privatized, and our government is a centralized government, but it doesn't have heavy duty functions at the federal level. And what I think, as an academic, I believe that we may start to see a challenge to how much authority the federal level should have, and how much of a responsibility they have in maintaining social order during a crisis. Um, because we should all act like, we have it, and we should all, take precautions, and we shouldn't be going out. And how do we maintain that message with people who, within this capitalist society and framework, to function, to exist, need to work and need to be out there to put
So
a roof over their head?
I completely understand the people that need to work.
Right. So
My
what I'm
whole
saying
family
is
is working, my husband is working, but it is
how do we
extremely
balance
important
it?
for
Is my
for
question.
corporations to take responsibility for the safety of their employees.
And it ticks me off that these corporations applied for the small business loans and received millions. And we're just finding out now of a few. You know what I say? This is what I say. When this is all said and done, I want a list. I want a list of every major multi-million plus dollar industry corporation that has accepted money that was supposed to go to small businesses. Make a blacklist and check it twice and send it out. And you know what? Americans, come together and boycott. We're going to boycott manufacturing in China, or we're going to boycott these corporations who took advantage of dollars that should have gone to small businesses in America. Thank you.
What I'm concerned, Bree, is like, so this obviously is like a stimulus package that is not going to the right people.
No, because they're finding the loopholes, and they have the attorneys.
They always do. They are the ones writing the law, Brie. You know they're checking all the bills before like they get approved. You know they are.
They have their lobbyists.
Of course they do. So like they are the ones like writing what is being implemented. So
Congress is there to represent the people. Corporations are not the people. It makes me want to growl.
What scares me, and this is a horrible prediction, but I'm gonna go like full Andrew Yang on this. I've been reading a lot. I was talking about data, so I've been reading a lot about AI and the use of artificial intelligence in corporations. And for the past 5 years, the changes have been astronomical in the way corporations are using data and machine learning to apply it to their processes. One of my concerns is that with all of these, it's going to accelerate even more that process so that at some point we're not gonna need as much human resources as they used to.
Yeah.
So that's a change that I see that it's going to happen, especially now that corporations are closing because people are getting sick. So how do you reopen? Well, getting rid of people, like,
Get rid of people.
So we need
robots don't get sick unless it's the Matrix.
I know these loans were attached to employment and utility bills and all that stuff, but I want Congress and our public servants to be aware of that this is something that is going to happen. And this is an economic contraction. It's gonna get long term for a while.
Yes, we're gonna feel this for a long time. I think that the economic crash that we're feeling now is the tip of the iceberg. I think
I read in a report that we're gonna feel this over a decade.
Oh, absolutely. Just like the Great Recession.
Yeah. Yeah.
We still are feeling it. The economy was booming before Rona. And we were still feeling the effects of the recession, and now we have the Great Repression, and the children that are growing up today will be feeling the effects of this pandemic.
I just want to say I know, and I'm concerned about that. But I want to send a lot of love to everyone that's in their homes. And to be honest, you're doing the right thing by staying safe. If at some point you feel if you're feeling sad and you're feeling anxious and you're stressed out, we all understand. The world is going through this process with you. Yes. Please. I should have had like many resources right now to say this, but please
we can put it in the post.
Please look for like your local communities, to nonprofit organizations. Look for information. A lot of organizations are providing services for free for people that are in need right now. So don't feel like you're alone like we're all experiencing. We're all experiencing the effects of the coronavirus, and we need to be there for each other. So that's extremely important. And the other thing is, if you're home right now, please use your time wisely. If you want to learn something new, read a book, take a class.
Free classes online.
We use Coursera a lot. It's a great source. I don't know if we can put a link of a couple of websites that give free classes. It's a great time to just like spend time on those things that you've always wanted to do. Keep yourself entertained as much as possible. So, because this is cyclical. It will go away. It will get better. Everything, it's gonna be a new normal. But it's gonna be fine. We just need to be there for one another. It's really important right now. It's not being socially distant, it's being physically distant. So
be together.
So yeah, that's really important. I also want to send love to all the people that were supposed to graduate now in May.
Yes.
My brother was supposed to graduate. Well, he's graduating, but there won't be a graduation for the University of Maryland. He was doing a PhD in pharmacy, and I'm extremely proud of him. And it's sad that we won't be able, to go celebrate him. But a shout out to everyone that's graduating. My cousin's a senior in high school as well. So
it's the new normal, but whenever we do get back to it, we'll get together and we will all celebrate. And we'll all be happy and hug.
And get creative. I don't know what you guys have been doing, but I have this sensational friend that she's been planning an escape room theme birthday party for her husband. And like she's doing a Western theme and like she's been sending prompts. So it's time to like get creative, do fun stuff in the kitchen. Yeah.
That's the American way, right? Like
play board games.
Good or bad, we make it out. We'll survive.
Yeah. YOLO.
We'll survive. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me, Priscilla. I'm extremely proud of you. Really.
I'm proud of you.
And
providing all the assistance and policy guidance, and you're going to be one of the top tier professionals in policy influence in America. I know it is your path.
You're too sweet.
Yes.
So, and for those of you that are thinking about running, please run. Please do. We need do it. Do it.
We need representation.
We'll be here for you.
Yes.
Really. Do it.
Yes.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Thank you so much.
Stay healthy. I love you. Thank you for having me. And
next time we'll try and do one en español para la gente que necesita. Tenemos que hacer una pura locura para los hispanos también.
Por favor, necesitamos uno en español. Definitivamente PureLunacy needs to go bilingual.
Yo hablo español terrible. Yo soy brasileña, pero hablo español.
O sea, mi español es Spanglish. Y cuando hablo contigo confundo más palabras de otros idiomas, así que está muy bien, está bien.
Thank you.
I love you.
Love
Bye,
you.
people. Bye.